Hello ladies and Metal Gen, and today I'm going to be doing a K1S slash IS review. Only going to be showing the footage from an IS, but basically the K1S and IS is basically exactly the same tank. The IS, which is the tier 7 heavy, has more hit points, faster reload, and everything else is about the same. So any tips, any tricks that you can use on the IS works perfectly fine with the KV-1S as well. So, are these tanks any good? Of course they are. Even when you start playing, I remember when I started playing this game, one thing I noticed when I got to tier 5 and 6 is how fucking hard the KV-1S hits. That was the first thing I learned, that don't mess with these tanks. And yeah, they are. These tanks, in my opinion, are balanced for complete idiots and noobs. If you have to have skill to play something like a German heavies or mediums in tier 6 and 7, that these tanks you don't have to have any skill to play them. You can do good, average to good, even though you're a complete monkey and you have no clue what you're doing. These tanks are forgiving, they have excellent gun and a lot of hit points and troll armor. And as you can see in this replay, I kind of knew that I'm gonna face this Hellcat here since the rest of the T90. My biggest fear here was to meet the T29s, but they are not here, so I kind of figured that the Hellcat would probably be going here. And he puts 2 hits into me, and they kind of hurt. Hellcat is a beast as well, but this won't be his game. And here I take one big one to the face. I thought this game was kind of over, but I paid the price of those hit points just to get here, and in the end it was totally worth it, as you will see now. So let's start with the armor. The armor is quite troll. The upper plate is pretty good. The really big downside of the armor is that even though the upper plate is good, but it makes a shot trap, so shots tend to bounce off the upper plate into the bottom of your turret and just damage your turret instead of the hull. So that's something to look out from. The turret is kind of troll as well. Like, it has some gun metal, but I haven't figured out. Like, sometimes it bends, sometimes it doesn't bend. It's pretty weird. And what else? The mobility, as you can see, is pretty fast. It goes like 30 on the flat and can keep its speed pretty well. And the gun is almost the same as on the K1S. It's slightly improved in aiming time, but the 390 Alpha, 175 penetration still remains. It has a bit better rate of fire as well. It reloads in about 10.3 seconds, so yeah, nothing special about it. Burst speed is pretty good. 35 for a heavy tank is pretty damn good. And as you can see, it's not the best sniper gun, but I got the IS cupola like this way, so figured why not try again. But this time it doesn't go through. So how to play this tank? Get into these close range shooting ranges. This thing is all about the close range, and yeah, I got a bit sloppy. I figured I could finish the K1S off, and it didn't happen. So now I'm on 74 hit points, but this game is still far from over. And you see, this gun, this is the right way to play it. If I peeked there for a bit longer, I would have been dead. But I know that my life is way more worth than putting one shot into that tiger. Here comes the K1S, snipe his cupola, and he's out as well. And now just keep eye on the IS-2. So equipment. This thing can't mount the vert stab, so just gun length drive, gun rammer, and ventilation. Pretty standard. The view range on this tank is utter crap, so don't go spot unless it's like in these ranges, and this tiger was a complete idiot. What else? The crew skills, repairs, sixth sense, and as a second skill, snapshot, smooth ride, and things like that that improve your aim. Research order would be to get the turret and get the 122 mil right away. Fuck the stock guns. Drop some free XP for the turret and get the 122mm up on the tank. Otherwise, you'll have really bad time with it. Get the turret, get the gun, then get the engine, then get the tracks. Use the torsion bars or enhanced suspension, whatever this thing has, to not so you don't have to buy the tracks before you get everything else. So yeah, that will make your grind way more enjoyable and everything. As you can see, I had 42 hit points when I have done 1. What 1.7k damage. I still have 72 hit points, and now I have done 3.6k damage, and I'm about to finish off this IS2. So yeah, this is like, don't ignore these tanks on low HP. Take them out. They can do so much damage with this gun. This gun reloads in like 10 seconds, and it gets really nice DPM in that. Another thing that works in the IS is side scraping. It gets 90 side armor, which is better than the side armor on the Tiger 2. So you can do some side scraping. It's limited because you have front mounted turret, and the turret is utter garbage. So you have to be careful with it. But it's a tactic you can use. So keep that in mind. It's same with the KV-1S. It's a bit less. With KV-1S, you don't really have the hit points. I like to play this tank more than the KV-1S just because of the amount of hit points. This tank is more forgiving. Like you saw me, I was lost a lot of health before I got into position, but I still had some to spare to trade shots with and everything. I have already finished grinding it, so I already sold it, but I am getting the IS3 and unstocking it at the moment, so probably I'm gonna do a review on that as well. But the KV-1S is a monster. I mean, this tank in any hands can do miracles. It doesn't require a good player to have these monster games because there's almost no skill involved. It's more of a RNG because you saw how I play it. Peek out, take the shot, don't aim. And if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's so totally RNG, and that's how you play it. You don't sit and wait. You just take your shots. And look at this, 591 meters. I didn't even aim fully. Straight in the middle. Hello, Tiger 2. Tiger 1, that is. Yeah, and what else to mention about this tank? Well, it is a complete beast. The KV, oh yeah, I can mention the research order on KV-1S. You want to get the 122 as fast as you can, so get the guns that lead to the turret, get the turret, get the gun. Drop some free XP, don't be cheap, because that KV-1S in stock is utter shit. Use the torsion bars as well and just get the guns, the turret, and the 122 mil. That gun is on the KV-1S. It's even more ridiculous than on the IS. It's still quite the OP gun on the IS as well. This guy is AFK, but I'm gonna just shoot him because I don't want him to spot me. And of course, the Artie is still alive. Usually, everybody focuses the Artie, but not in this game. Another slight issue with an IS is that it doesn't get a lot of ammo, so I highly don't recommend to take a lot of gold shells. 3 is the limit. 2 should be more appropriate, because I really don't use gold ammo on this tank at all. That shot hit the target as well, I believe. Uh, the gold ammo, you don't really need it, so I just stick with the AP all the time. And like, this tank is not situational like some tanks are, like the T-29 needs to go all down. This tank doesn't care. It has troll armor all around. You can play really good in cities. You can really play good in these big maps. Just take a flank and go through it. You can. This tank can really own the battlefield. It doesn't matter where you spawn or what map it is. This is the best assault vehicle in tier 7 by far. It doesn't care what situation it is in. It always can bring on the herd. I called my IS the slaughterhouse on tracks, and yeah, basically what I was doing this tank was just slaughtering the poor puppies. And the last shot, of course, no penetration, so I should have loaded the HE, but I didn't even notice that I ran out of ammo, and I didn't want it to fuck around with the ammos because I wanted to reload faster. And this guy gives me his side, and this game is over. So yeah, this game was pretty alright as well. 4.5k damage. I hit one of the blind shots to the tigers, so yeah. 2.6k experience, 1000 spotting damage, 46,000 credits earned. So yeah, if you wanna rape some face into your 7, get this tank. It's a certain recommendation. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.